Hello, and thanks for watching another episode of ARFCOM News, your twice-weekly dose of the finest 2A propaganda. Now, you might get the idea from my opposition to red flag laws that I think it's okay for nutters to buy and carry guns, but that's not the case at all. Take this Florida man, for example. He called the Pasco County Sheriff's Office to tell them people from the fifth dimension were holding him hostage and were going to kill him. Oh, and there's an invisible person in the backseat of his car. Naturally, the sheriff deputies wanted to have a chat with him, so they went to meet him near the Tampa Premium Outlet Mall, where he told deputies the CIA was planning a mass unaliving event. When deputies asked whether he was the guy who would be doing the shooting, he said he hadn't been told yet. The sheriff's office and the ATF served a search warrant on his home and found several registered NFA devices and an AR lower which they claim had been modified to accept an autosear. The DOJ press release is pretty vague.
I find that answer vague and unconvincing.
And it doesn't say whether the lower actually had an autosear installed in it or if he even possessed one. It also gives no details on how the lower had been modified either. Did he mill the shelf down or did he drill the third hole? It also doesn't say what kind of registered NFA devices he had. Do I think nutters ought to have machine guns? No. But this guy wasn't red flagged. They didn't go to his house and then steal some of his guns and leave him free to hurt people. No, they arrested him and they charged him. And that's exactly what ought to happen if someone really is a credible threat. Should he have been charged with an unregistered machine gun? No, because machine guns should be legal, but he does deserve due process. What do you folks think? While you're chewing on that, consider that it would be impossible for us to produce quality 2A propaganda without sponsors. So let's pay some bills. Today's video is sponsored by Springfield Armory. Their new Echelon pistol has a modular fire control group and a nifty universal mounting solution which will accommodate virtually any micro red dot.
New for 2023 is the Springfield Echelon. This striker-fired polymer frame pistol features Springfield's new variable interface system for mounting multiple optic footprints and the serialized cog fire control for inserting into multiple frames. Find out more at springfield-armory.com.
And by TNVC.com. Open weekdays till 4, Saturday and Sunday they're closed, online at TNVC.com. Now you have a friend in the night vision business. And by Gunstock, a 2-day festival of peace and guns in Waxahachie, Texas. Come hang out with me September 23rd and 24th and make some pews, eat some food, and enjoy some music. You're running out of time, better get registered. I hope to see you there. The interwebs positively exploded last week when Mega Karen and New Mexico Governor Michelle Grisham declared a total ban on the bearing of arms throughout the state.
The Constitution of New Mexico and the Constitution of the United States, and you're an attorney. Do you think you're on solid constitutional ground here?
Well, we're going to see.
I'm sure you've heard plenty about that already, so let me just catch you up right quick on all of the fallout which came after that story. First, she based her excuse for the decree on a public health crisis, except the Albuquerque PD says homicide is actually declining by a pretty healthy 11%. And the National Association for Gun Rights wasted no time filing a temporary restraining order against Grisham's decree. We'll keep you updated on that as it develops. But even without the restraining order, there isn't much to worry about because the cops and the district attorney have said they won't enforce the order, which is probably wise on their part because 2 years ago, Grisham signed a law ending qualified immunity. That means every resident of the state of New Mexico can sue police for attempting to violate their right to bear arms under the New Mexico state constitution. Ironically, it also means they can sue Grisham herself. And she just can't stop digging herself deeper. She even admitted out loud she doesn't believe her temporary restraining order would end crime in 30 days. Her position here is such a take, even the control freak's plucky little mascot David Hogg came out against it. So without any support from the civilian disarmament industrial complex, why would she do this?
Chavez don't got no brains anyhow.
Well, to shift the Overton window so other control freak proposals don't look quite so extreme in comparison. That's why. See, now, when Hogg or other police state enthusiasts suggest some common sense infringements, they can always point to their opposition to Grisham's decree as evidence their proposals are reasonable and totally not a creeping incrementalist approach to absolute disarmament.
Mr. and Mrs. America, turn them all in.
The last person you would expect to be a gun grabber is the guy behind the counter at your local fun store. But that's exactly what happened to a young service member when he tried to get help choosing a holster at Shooter's Den in Albuquerque. Wait. Also New Mexico? Is there like something in the water? The young man built a polymer 80 pistol and needed help finding a holster, but when he showed up at the store, the megafud behind the counter got freaked out because the gun didn't have a serial number and demanded to see the man's ID. Then he got even more freaked out because the customer was under 21, so you know what any person would do, and he called the ATF.
So I ran inside and called the 5-0.
F-Troop told him to confiscate the gun, so like a good little prole, he did exactly what he was told. Later, they told him he could give the gun back, but only after he engraved the serial number and entered it into his bound book, then to transfer it to the man on a 4473, except the man isn't 21, so he can't receive a handgun in that manner. It is, of course, perfectly legal for him to build and possess it, but the store can't transfer it to him. For those playing along with the home game, what this employee did is called theft. Having a federal firearms license does not give anyone the authority to take any other person's property without their consent, even if it had been illegal. Even if the guy walked in and plopped down an M67 frag grenade and a bag of mollies on the counter, the only recourse the store has is to call the popo or ask him to leave. The young man in question isn't taking this lying down though. He called Albuquerque police and reported the theft. The police came out and retrieved the gun, but as I record this, they have not yet returned his property. Hopefully this all gets sorted out, but here's where it gets even more interesting. If the theft charges stick, the employee would also be guilty of violating the federal law prohibiting possession of stolen guns, and the shop's FFL could be at risk as well. How insanely bizarre would it be if they lost their FFL and then sued the ATF for giving them the advice that led to the revocation? What do you folks think? Was this an honest mistake, or should this gun shop cowboy get hauled up the yardarm? And now, for your moment of zen. Hey friends, do you like pews and other pew-related things? Would you like to help us keep delivering you pure uncut American pew propaganda at the low price of free city? We literally couldn't pay the bills without our sponsors, so do us a solid and get yourself something nice from them. You deserve it. I love you.